Hey everyone, Chad Henderson here, head brewer at NoDa Brewing Company, here to talk to you about a special process we have here at the brewery. We're very proud of the wide spectrum of beers that we offer on tap. We like to offer a lot of varieties for you guys, but one thing that we're really known for is hoppy beers. And you can't have great hoppy beers unless you're really involved in selecting hops. We actually travel to the Northwest to travel through Oregon and Washington where most of our hops grow, and we actually hand select the individualized lots from farms to represent the varieties that we contract for that year. But the important part of the whole experience is actually getting to go to the facilities that are the contractors and brokers for different farms and locations for those hops, such as Haas hop contractors, where I actually go and sample a variety of different hop varietals. I know that sounds redundant, but basically a lot of people don't realize that Citra hops and Amarillo hops and Centennial hops aren't just the same across the board. They actually are different depending on who's growing them. So I'll go into a room and I'll actually be presented with 3 varieties of Centennial, 4 varieties of Citra, 3 varieties of Amarillo, etc. for multiple different varieties that we are going to go through and select to be the representative hop of that variety for the entire upcoming year. So I'm presented with all these different cuts of dried out whole leaf hops, and the first thing I do is actually just look at the hop itself. How is the actual flower? How is the cut looking on it? And the cut actually will show the actual internal gland on the hop, which gives me a perspective of the oil content, and I want that to be a nice bright yellow powdery character to it. I want a nice deep green, almost like a lime green for the flower itself, and I just look at that at first just to see how brilliant is the actual hop. After taking in the actual physical appearance of the cut, I like to actually just pick off a few flowers, look and see if we have any brown or like older looking sort of hops in there. I discard those, and in general we want to have a very consistent looking hop cut. After that, I actually take the individual hop flowers, split them apart, give them a little pinch, see how firm and bouncy the actual hops are, which gives me an idea of their just oil content in general. Then also gives me a nice look at just the individual hop itself. I take a smell of that, just as the raw hop in its own right. And then I basically do a quick rub through my hands to get my hands coated in the oils from the hop, and then I do the vigorous rub, and that's where a lot of the actual decision making comes into play. With having a natural coat of the oil on my hands to begin with, rubbing the hops really vigorously opens up all those glands. It lets the oil start exploding out of the hops, and I can get a great aroma off of those hops itself. As I continue to rub and pick up the hops that I've already rubbed out, they basically will continue to heat up, and the extra heat actually will allow some actual transformation in the oil, and I can pick out any nuances that I don't like or some nuances that I do like. And basically, after selecting the different varieties of that one varietal, I can say this is our pick for the upcoming year. All of our ingredients here, from the grain to the hops to the water, they're all processed organic ingredients. They all change year to year, crop to crop, field to field. So being able to go there and actually select the individual lot gives us a lot more control, consistency, and also gives us a better appreciation for what we're using. Which brings us to Sticky When Wet, our wet hopped IPA, which was released for the first time last year because now we actually have a hop back that allows us to use wet hops. It was a semi-gamble because we had never really done a wet hop beer in the past, and we absolutely loved it, and you guys had a great response to it as well. This year I think it's just as good, if not a little bit better. But what makes a wet hop beer differently than a normal IPA or any hop-centric sort of beer is the fact that the hops are harvested straight off the vine, packaged, and don't go through any drying process, any pelletization whatsoever. It's overnighted the day it is actually harvested, and we have to brew with it the very next day. So this is literally the juiciest, freshest hop variety we could ever ask for. This beer is fantastic. The hop variety that we go for is the one that is basically our bread and butter, Citra hops. So we pair that up with pellets of Mosaic, and it becomes a wonderful beer. We go through a lot of work to make sure we give you the freshest and best quality for those hops every single year when we go up to the hop selection. And you know what? If it's not your take, if you don't like the hops, try any one of the other dozens of beers that we have that aren't hop-centric. Either way, come down and give us a try, and thank you for stopping in. Consider yourself notified.